Estudiantes a este vídeo de cultura. Seamos inclusivos. Objetivos culturales. Puedo usar lenguaje inclusivo en español. I can use inclusive language in Spanish. Puedo explicar qué es ser americano en español. I can explain what is to be an American in Spanish. Puedo explicar cómo se escriben los números en español. I can explain how to write numbers in Spanish. These objectives are for you to learn a little bit about this new culture that you are a part of, and we hope that you enjoy this presentation. So let's start with the pronouns in Spanish. Hopefully, if you haven't learned this yet, you will be able to learn how to say they in Spanish and be a little bit more inclusive. It is important because people no longer identify themselves just by being male or female. And as you know, or you may know, some people suffer violence and discrimination just based on their appearance and gender and how they express their identity. So these are some of the pronouns in Spanish, and they are bilingual, so you can see them. So yo, tú, o usted. Tú is using the Caribbean and also in Spain to be informal, versus usted that is used formally all over the Spanish-speaking world. If you want to say they as a single person, number one, we use the pronoun ella, or if you're not sure and you don't want to use it, you can say es una persona que. It's a person that, or it's a person who. You can also say ella for she, él for he. When it comes to plural, we have nosotros when the group is generally full of people that identify as male. Nosotras if there's people that identify as female only. But you can also use nosotres if you want to be inclusive and use this. It's something new and we're still learning, okay? Vosotros, vosotras, vosotres, and this is used mostly in Spain when we want to be informal. The majority of Latin America is using ustedes, which is a little bit more formal, okay? If you want to say they, and you are not sure how the person or what pronoun the person uses, then you can use ellas. O son unas personas que. For they feminine, you can say ellas. And for they masculine or general would be ellos. Now, know one thing, in Spanish we don't need to use these pronouns most often because we either use the first person name. I can say Profe Gabriel es una persona que. I could use Sage es una persona que. I don't necessarily need to use they. This is just to help you because in English you actually have to say I, you, he, she, they, because the sentence doesn't make any sense in English. In Spanish we don't need it. Okay, so we want to be inclusive, and what we're going to be practicing when you introduce each other is after you ask the name of the person, you want to ask what pronoun do you use. We don't say what pronoun do you prefer, and you can investigate a little bit more as to why we just use what pronoun do you use, but be careful and mindful that people that are still transitioning or they are still developing their identity, they may not have come out in their houses, and we need to be respectful. So they may use for close acquaintances one pronoun and then at home another one. So please be mindful and follow their cues. So here's how we ask it. ¿Qué pronombres usas? So what pronouns do you use? When you want to answer that, you can say uso el pronombre ella, uso el pronombre ella, or ellas, okay? All right, so please keep in mind that you cannot tell, or we shouldn't assume what gender a person goes by or identifies as just by looking at them. Right here below you can see some images of some people that were portrayed in a National Geographic article that explore more in depth how people identify themselves in Spanish. And if you are interested, I can always leave the link to that article. And anyway, please keep that in mind. Okay, the next thing that we're going to talk about is estadounidense o americano. And this is a very important question. Like, how do we say I'm American in Spanish? So you would think that we could say soy americano, soy americana, but the problem is that that can cause or be offensive for many people that live in the Americas. So in Spanish, we are all American. If you were born in Canada, or if you were born in Costa Rica, or if you were born in Chile or Argentina, or even in Brazil or Guyana Francesa, everybody in this continent is called Americano, Americana. If you want to refer to yourself as by your nationality, this is a keyword that you need to learn, and it will be in the final exam for this unit and the quarter. Estadounidense, and you don't need to change it to estadounidenso or estadounidensa. It's not needed. It's just one word, regardless of who you are. Soy estadounidense. Okay, I hope that helps. Please make sure, if you don't know, please make sure that you review the endings of nationalities. You can see them over here based on the country and the flag, etc. So please just take a minute to review it at your own leisure, but just learn. We are estadounidenses. Good job. Finally, the numbers in Spanish versus English. So we use different systems, and Profe Trujillo just made a mistake here. So one of the things that I'd like you to look at, I think we do this actually, right? There you go. There you go. This is what happens when you navigate two cultures. All right. So as you can see, we interchange in our system here in the United States. Am I doing this right? Yeah, I think I am. No, we're not. I'm messing it up. Bummer.